Are you ready to crush the CISA exam and level up IT audit game? You are in the right place. In this video, I have put together 30 high quality CISA practice questions to help you get exam ready with confidence. But we are not just stopping at the answers, we are breaking down key concepts with clear explanation to lock in your understanding. Whether you are just starting out or brushing up for test day, this video will give you the edge you need to succeed. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join our community of future certified professionals. Let's get started. Question number 61. What should an IS auditor do if he or she observes that project approval procedures do not exist? The options are option A, advise senior management to invest in project management training for the staff. Option B, create project approval procedures for future project implementations. Option C, assign project leaders. And option D, recommend to management that formal approval procedures be adopted and documented. And the correct option is option D, recommend to management that formal approval procedures be adopted and documented. So, if an IS auditor observes that project approval procedures do not exist, the auditor role is to report the control weakness, recommend corrective actions such as establishing and documenting formal procedures, and ensure that management is aware of the risk of unapproved or uncontrolled projects. The auditor should not take on management responsibilities such as assigning leaders or creating procedures. Doing so would compromise independence and go beyond the audit role. Question number 62. Who is ultimately accountable for the development of an IS security policy? And the options are option A, the board of directors, option B, middle management, option C, security administrator, and option D, network administrators. And the correct option is option A, board of directors. So the board of directors is ultimately accountable for the development and approval of information systems security policy because they are responsible for the organization's overall governance and risk management. Security policies are strategic documents that must align with the organization's objectives and risk appetite. And while security administrators or network administrators may draft or implement the policy and middle management may help enforce it, accountability rests with the board. This ensures that the policy has executive level backing and supports compliance, governance, and enterprise risk management. Question number 63. Proper segregation of duties normally does not prohibit a lane administrator from also having programming responsibilities. True or false? Option A, true, and option B, false. And the correct option is option B, false. So, proper segregation of duties aims to prevent conflict of interest, fraud, and errors by ensuring that critical tasks are divided among different individuals. A lane administrator typically has access to system infrastructure, including network configurations and possibly user accounts. If the same person also has programming responsibilities, they could write, modify, and deploy code, potentially bypassing change control or inserting malicious code without detection. This combination violates segregation of duties principles because it removes independent oversight, increasing security and integrity risk. Therefore, it's false to say that SOD normally does not prohibit this, it does prohibit it. Question number 64. A core tenet of an information security strategy is that it must option A, be inexpensive, option B, be protected as sensitive confidential information, option C, protect information confidentiality,
integrity, and availability. And option D, support the business objectives of the organization. And the correct option is option D, support the business objectives of the organization. So, a core tenet of an information system strategy is that it must align with and support the organization's overall business goals and objectives, ensure that IT investments and initiatives drive business value and competitive advantage, and enable the organization to operate effectively, manage risk, and innovate. So, while aspects like cost effectiveness, confidentiality, and security, that is CIA, are important, they are supporting elements. The primary purpose is to ensure that information security or information system strategy serves and advances the business mission. Question number 65, batch control reconciliation is a fill in the blank control for mitigating risk of inadequate segregation of duties. And the options are option A, detective, option B, corrective, option C, preventative, and option D, compensatory. And the correct option is option D, compensatory. So, batch control reconciliation is a compensatory control, meaning it is used to mitigate risk when ideal controls like segregation of duties are not feasible. It provides a way to detect and correct errors or irregularities that could arise due to insufficient separation of duties. While not a replacement of proper segregation, it helps reduce the risk associated with combining roles. So, when segregation of duties cannot be fully enforced, that is, in small teams, compensatory controls like batch control reconciliation helps maintain control integrity. Question number 66, key verification is one of the best control for ensuring that option A, data is entered correctly, option B, only authorized cryptographic keys are used, option C, input is authorized, and option D, database indexing is performed properly. And the correct option is option A, data is entered correctly. So, key verification is a data control technique where critical data is entered twice by two different individuals or systems and compared for accuracy. It is commonly used for ensuring that important fields like account numbers or transaction amounts are entered correctly, and detecting and preventing data entry errors before they affect downstream processes. It is not related to cryptographic keys, input authorization, or database indexing. Its primary purpose is to validate the accuracy of entered data. Question number 67, if senior management is not committed to strategic planning, how likely is that how likely it is that a company's implementation of IT will be successful? Option A, IT cannot be implemented if senior management is not committed to strategic planning. Option B, more likely. Option B, less likely. And option D, strategic planning does not affect the success of a company's implementation of information technology. And the correct option is option C, less likely. So, if senior management is not committed to strategic planning, it is less likely that IT implementation will be successful because number one, strategic planning ensures that IT initiatives are aligned with business goals. Number two, senior management provides leadership, funding, and authority needed for effective implementation. And number three, lack of commitment can lead to poor prioritization, unclear direction, and inadequate resource allocation. Therefore, while IT can still technically be implemented, the likelihood of success is significantly reduced without senior management's strategic environment. Question number 68. Which of the following could lead to an unintentional loss of confidentiality? Choose the best answer. Option A, lack of employee awareness of a company's information security policy. Option B, failure to comply with a company's information security policy. Option C, a momentary lapse of reason. And option D, lack of security policy enforcement procedures. And the correct option is option A, lack of employee awareness of a company's information security policy. So, lack of employee awareness is a key factor that can lead to unintentional loss of confidentiality because option A, employee may inadvertently mishandle sensitive information if they don't understand what's confidential or how to protect it. And number two, awareness training is essential to prevent accidental disclosures such as emailing data to the wrong recipient or sharing sensitive info or insecure channel. While policy violations, lapses in judgment, and weak enforcement are also risks, the best answer is option A because awareness is foundational. Without it, employees cannot comply or even recognize risks. Question number 69. What topology provides the greatest redundancy of routes and the greatest network fault tolerance? Option A star network topology. Option B, a mesh network topology with packet forwarding enabled at each host. Option C, a bus network topology. And option D, a ring network topology. And the correct option is option B, a mesh network topology with packet forwarding enabled at each host. So, a mesh network topology with packet forwarding at each host provides number one, the greatest redundancy as every device is connected to every other device or at least multiple others in a partial mesh. Number two, high fault tolerance because if one path fails, data can still be routed through alternative paths. And number three, enhanced reliability and robustness, especially in mission critical systems or decentralized networks. Question number 70. An IS auditor usually places more reliance on evidence directly collected. What is the example of such evidence? Option A, evidence collected through personal observation. Option B, evidence collected through system logs provided by the organization's security administration. Option C, evidence collected through surveys collected from internal staff. And option D, evidence collected through transaction reports provided by the organization's IT administration. And the correct option is option A, evidence collected through personal observation. So, an IS auditor places the most reliance on evidence that is directly observed or independently obtained as it is considered the most reliable. And number two, personal observation allows the auditor to verify, control, and processes firsthand, reducing the risk of relying on potentially biased or manipulated information. Other options involve indirect evidence or data prepared by the audited entity, which can be incomplete, which is collected through surveys, manipulated, which is collected through reports and logs, or inaccurately interpreted. So, thus, option A is the best example of evidence directly collected by the auditor. Question number 71. What kind of protocol does the OSI transport layer of the TCP/IP protocol suite provides to ensure reliable communication? Option A, non-connection oriented protocol. Option B, connection oriented protocol. Option C, session oriented protocol. And option D, non-session oriented protocol. And the correct option is option B, connection oriented protocol. So the transport layer in the OSI model corresponds to the transport layer in the TCP/IP protocol suite, which is responsible for reliable end-to-end communication. To ensure reliability, it uses connection-oriented protocols such as TCP, that is Transmission Control Protocol. TCP establishes a connection, ensures data delivery through acknowledgements, retransmissions, and sequencing. In contrast, UDP, that is User Datagram Protocol, is a non-connection oriented protocol, also part of the transport layer, but it does not provide reliability, so it is not the mechanism that ensures reliable communication. Question number 72. How is the time required for transaction processing review usually affected by the properly implemented electronic data interface, that is EDI? And the options are: option A, EDI usually decreases the time necessary for review. Option B, EDI usually increases the time necessary for review. Option C, cannot be determined. And option D, EDE does not affect the time necessary for review. And the correct option is option A, EDI usually decreases the time necessary for the review. So electronic data interchange, that is EDI, automates the exchange of business documents like invoices, purchase orders, etc. between organizations in a standardized electronic format. When EDI is properly implemented, it number 1 reduces manual data entry, number 2 minimizes human errors, and number 3 speeds up data transmission and validation. As a result, transaction processing becomes faster and more efficient, which also reduces the time required for the review. Question number 73. What would an IS auditor expect to find in the console log? Choose the best answer. Option A, evidence of password spoofing. Option B, system errors. Option C, evidence of data copy activities. And option D, evidence of password sharing. And the correct option is option B, system errors. So a console log typically records messages related to the operating systems and applications status and activity, especially system level events. These logs are most useful for number 1, debugging system issues, number 2, monitoring system startup and shutdown, and number 3, recording hardware or software errors. While other types of evidence like password spoofing, data copying, or password sharing might appear in security logs, audit logs, or application specific logs, they are not typically found in the console log. Question number 74. Atomicity enforces data integrity by ensuring that a transaction is either completed in its entirety or not at all. Atomicity is part of the ACID test reference for transaction processing. True or false? Option A, true. Option B, false. And the correct option is option A, true. So atomicity is one of the 4 key properties of the ACID principles used in transaction processing to ensure data integrity. ACID acronym stands for A for atomicity. A transaction must be all or nothing. That is, if any part fails, the entire transaction is rolled back. C for consistency, ensures the database moves from one valid state to another. I for isolation, that is, ensures concurrent transactions do not interfere with each other. And D for durability, once a transaction is committed, it remains so even in the event of a system failure. So yes, atomicity enforces data integrity by making sure transactions are either fully completed or not done at all, which is part of the ACID model. Question number 75. Why does the IS auditor often review the system logs? Option A, to get evidence of password spoofing. Option B, to get evidence of data copy activities. Option C, to determine the existence of unauthorized access to data by a user or program. And option D, to get evidence of password sharing. And the correct option is option C, to determine the existence of unauthorized access to data by a user or a program. So system logs are record activities on systems including login attempts, access to files, use of privileges, and other actions taken by users or programs. An IS auditor reviews these logs to detect unauthorized access. Number 2, identify suspicious behavior. And number 3, verify compliance with access control policies. While logs might sometimes indirectly show evidence related to password spoofing or sharing, their primary and most reliable use is to detect unauthorized access. Question number 76. What is essential for the IS auditor to obtain a clear understanding of network management? Option A, security administrator access to systems. Option B, system logs of all hosts providing application services. Option C, a graphical map of the network topology. And option D, administrator access to systems. And the correct option is option C, a graphical map of the network topology. So to understand network management, an IS auditor must know how the network is structured and interconnected. A graphical map of the network topology provides number 1, a visual layout of devices, connections, and data flow. Number 2, insight into how systems communicate. And number 3, identification of critical points for security, monitoring, and control. So while access to logs or administrative privileges can help in detailed analysis, they do not provide the overall structure needed to understand the network itself. Question number 77. How is risk affected if users have direct access to a database at the system level? Option A, risk of unauthorized access increases, but risk of untraceable changes to the database decreases. Option B, risk of unauthorized and untraceable changes to the database increases. Option C, risk of unauthorized access decreases, but risk of untraceable changes to the database increases. And option D, risk of unauthorized and untraceable changes to the database decreases. And the correct option is option B, risk of unauthorized and untraceable changes to the database increases. So when users have direct access to the database at a system level, that is bypassing the application controls, several risk increases. Number 1, unauthorized changes. Users may bypass role-based access control typically enforced by the application. And number 2, untraceable changes. Direct system level access may not be logged properly or consistently, making it difficult to track who made that changes. This undermines data integrity, accountability, and auditability, leading to greater security and compliance risks. Question number 78. What benefit does using capacity monitoring software to monitor usage patterns and trends provide to management? Choose the best answer. Option A, the software can dynamically readjust network traffic capability based upon current usage. Option B, the software reduces noise reports that really impress management. Option C, it allows users to properly allocate resources and ensure continuous efficiency of operations. And option D, it allows management to properly allocate resources and ensure continuous efficiency of operations. And the correct option is option D, it allows management to properly allocate resources and ensure continuous efficiency of operations. So capacity monitoring software helps track system and network usage over time, identifying usage patterns and trends, performance bottlenecks, and future resource needs. This information enables management, not just users, to make informed decisions, allocate IT resources efficiently, and plan for scalability and avoid downtime. This ensures ongoing operational efficiency and supports strategic IT planning. Question number 79. What can be very helpful to an IS auditor when determining the efficacy of a system maintenance program? Choose the best answer. Option A, network monitoring software. Option B, a system downtime log. Option C, administration activity reports. And option D, help desk utilization trend reports. And the correct option is option B, a system downtime log. So a system downtime log records when systems are unavailable due to failures, maintenance, or other issues. This is very helpful to an IS auditor because it provides number one, direct evidence of how often system goes down. Number two, insight into effectiveness of maintenance procedures. And number three, an indication of whether preventive maintenance is working as intended. While other options like network monitoring software or help desk reports may provide supporting information, the downtime logs gives the most relevant and measurable indicator of system maintenance success. Question number 80. What are used as a countermeasure for potential database corruption when two processes attempt to simultaneously edit or update the same information? Choose the best answer. Option A, referential integrity controls. Option B, normalization controls. Option C, concurrency controls. And option D, run-to-run totals. And the correct option is option C, concurrency controls. So concurrency controls are designed to prevent conflicts when multiple processes or users simultaneously access or modify the same data in a database. Without these controls, data corruption or inconsistencies can occur. Concurrency controls help by locking records or resources during a transaction, ensuring transaction isolation, and number three, preventing lost updates, dirty reads, or uncommitted data access. Other options, such as option A, referential integrity controls, ensure consistency between related tables, that is, foreign key constraints. Option B, normalization control, organizes data to reduce redundancy. And option D, run-to-run totals, used for checking batch data consistency, not simultaneous auditing. Question number 81. What increases encryption overhead and cost the most? And the options are option A, a long symmetric encryption key. Option B, a long asymmetric encryption key. Option C, a long advanced encryption standard key. And option D, a long data encryption standard, that is DES key. And the correct option is option B, a long asymmetric encryption key. So asymmetric encryption, for example, RSA uses two keys, a public and a private key and is computationally intensive. As the key length increases, the processing overhead and cost, that is CPU usage, memory, and time, also increases significantly more compared to symmetric encryption. Symmetric encryption, that is AES, Advanced Encryption Standard, or DES, that is Data Encryption Standard, is much faster and more efficient even with longer key lengths. AES and DES are both symmetric algorithms, and while longer keys increases security, they do not increase overhead as much as asymmetric encryption does. Question number 82. What is an initial step in creating a proper firewall policy? Option A, assigning access to users according to the principle of least privilege. Option B, determining appropriate firewall hardware and software. Option C, identifying network applications such as mail, web, or FTP, that is File Transfer Protocol Server. And option D, configuring firewall access rules. And the correct option is option C, identifying network applications such as mail, web, or FTP servers. So before you can define firewall rules or apply principles like least privilege, you need to understand what services and applications your network supports. This involves identifying number one, which application and services, that is mail, web, or FTP, need to be accessed. Number two, what traffic should be allowed or denied. And number three, where the traffic originates and what ports are used. Only after this step can you move on to selecting appropriate firewall solutions and configuring access rules based on actual requirements. Question number 83. What type of crypto system is characterized by data being encrypted by the sender using the recipient's public key and the data then being decrypted using the recipient's private key? And the options are option A, with public key encryption or symmetric encryption. Option B, with public key encryption or asymmetric encryption. Option C, with shared key encryption or symmetric encryption. And option D, with shared key encryption or asymmetric encryption. And the correct option is option B, with public key encryption or asymmetric encryption. So the crypto system described data encrypted with the recipient's public key and decrypted with their private key is a hallmark of public key encryption, which is a form of asymmetric encryption. Key characteristics: asymmetric encryption uses two different keys, a public key for encryption and a private key for decryption. Number two, this enables secure communication without the need to share a secret key in advance. In contrast, symmetric encryption, also known as a shared key encryption, uses the same key for both encryption and decryption. Question number 84. How does the SSL, that is Secure Socket Layer Network Protocol, provide confidentiality? Option A, through symmetric encryption such as RSA. Option B, through asymmetric encryption such as Data Encryption Standard or DES. Option C, through asymmetric encryption such as Advanced Encryption Standard or AES. And option D, through symmetric encryption such as Data Encryption Standard or DES. And the correct option is option D, through symmetric encryption such as Data Encryption Standard or DES. So SSL or Secure Socket Layer provides confidentiality primarily through symmetric encryption, which is used after the initial handshake. Here, how the SSL works in terms of encryption. Number one, asymmetric encryption, that is RSA, is used during the handshake to securely exchange a session key. Number two, once the session key is established, symmetric encryption, for example, DES or AES, is used to encrypt the actual data exchange between the client and the server. And number three, symmetric encryption is used for the bulk of the communication because it is faster and more efficient. Question number 85. What are used as the framework for developing logical access controls? And the options are option A, information system security policies. Option B, organizational security policies. Option C, access control list, that is ACL. And option D, organizational charts for identifying roles and responsibilities. And the correct option is option A, information system security policies. So information system security policies provide the framework and guidelines for implementing logical access controls within an organization. These policies define number one, who can access systems and data. Number two, under what conditions access is allowed. And number three, the rules for authentication, authorization, and accountability. These policies help ensure that logical access controls such as user IDs, passwords, ACLs, and permissions are aligned with the organization's security objectives and compliance requirements. Question number 86. Which of the following are effective controls for detecting duplicate transactions such as payments made or received? And the options are option A, concurrency controls, option B, reasonableness checks, option C, time stamps, and option D, referential integrity controls. And the correct option is option C, time stamps. So timestamps are an effective control for detecting duplicate transactions such as duplicate payments or receipts. They record the exact date and time a transaction occurs, which allows systems or auditors to number one, identify duplicate entries made at the same or very close times. Number two, compare transactions to check if the same action was recorded more than once. Other options, such as option A, concurrency controls, prevent simultaneous updates to the same data but not duplicate transactions. Option B, reasonableness checks validate input values against expected norms but do not directly detect duplicates. And option D, referential integrity controls ensure valid relationship between tables, for example, foreign key constraints, not duplicate detection. Question number 87. Which of the following is a good control for protecting confidential data residing on a PC? And the options are option A, personal firewall, option B, file encapsulation, option C, file encryption, and option D, host-based intrusion detection. And the correct option is option C, file encryption. So file encryption is a direct and effective control for protecting confidential data stored on a PC. It ensures that number one, even if unauthorized individuals gain access to the system or files, they cannot read the data without encryption key or password. Number two, it provides data confidentiality at rest, meaning files are protected while stored on the device. Other options, such as option A, personal firewall, protects against network-based threats but does not secure stored files. Option B, file encapsulation, groups files together, for example, in a container, but does not inherently provide encryption or security. And option D, host-based intrusion detection monitors for suspicious activity but does not protect data itself. Question number 88, which of the following do digital signatures provide? Option A, authentication and integrity of data. Option B, authentication and confidentiality of data. Option C, confidentiality and integrity of data. And option D, authentication and availability of data. And the correct option is option A, authentication and integrity of data. So digital signatures are cryptographic mechanisms that provide number one, authentications, which verifies the identity of the sender, ensuring that the message truly came from who it claims. Number two, integrity. It ensures that the data has not been altered during transit. Any change to the original message would invalidate the signature. So digital signatures do not provide confidentiality as the data is not encrypted by default, and they do not ensure availability. They ensure authenticity or authentication and integrity of data. Question number 89, which of the following would provide the highest degree of server access control? Option A, man trap monitored entryway to the server room. Option B, host-based intrusion detection combined with CCTV. Option C, network-based intrusion prevention, intrusion detection. And option D, a fingerprint scanner facilitating biometric access control. And the correct option is option D, a fingerprint scanner facilitating biometric access control. So a fingerprint scanner is a form of biometric access control which provides the highest degree of certainty in verifying an individual's identity compared to other methods. It ensures that only authorized personnel with a registered fingerprint can gain access to the server. Why not the other option? Option A, man trap monitored entryway. It provides strong physical access control but still can be bypassed with stolen credentials or tailgating. Option B, host-based intrusion detection plus CCTV. These are detection and monitoring tools, not prevention controls. And option C, network-based intrusion detection. It monitors network traffic but does not control physical access to the server. Question number 90, what are often the primary safeguards for system software and data? And the options are option A, administrative access controls, option B, logical access controls, option C, physical access controls, and option D, detective access controls. And the correct option is option B, logical access controls. So logical access controls are the primary safeguards for system software and data because they, number one, regulate who can access what data and systems based on roles, permissions, and authentication mechanism. Number two, include measures like passwords, biometric authentication, user IDs, access control list, that is ACLs, and encryption. And number three, help prevent unauthorized access or actions on system and data. Other options, option A, administrative access control. These are policy level controls, not directly technical safeguards. Option C, physical access controls protect physical infrastructure but not the software or data itself. And option D, detective access controls identify or alert after an event occurs but do not prevent access.